So, I mean, if you know what I'm talking about, you're going to do it with me. And you can do it on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All hail Satan! That's the longest panel he's done all year. Well, I got a question, bro. I didn't mean to interrupt you, everybody, but the shirt. What's this shirt? What is it?
Go ahead, say it.
Buc-ee's. Is that a restaurant?
No.
It's a
gas station.
I thought you said a jazz kitchen. I'm like, oh man, freeform kitchen.
Have you been to the jazz kitchen?
Paprika chicken, and I don't know what's over here.
But you're looking so clean and...
He's freaking me out. You lost weight.
Are you saying that I look dirty and gross?
No, you look like 10 years younger.
No, Robbie said, he goes, oh, it's time to get into a Fatty McFatterson, and then you walked out, and you're so slim.
That's not at all what I said. You heard what I said. That wasn't it. You look younger and...
Really?
Are you exfoliating?
It's just all the drugs.
Yeah, okay. That's the band secret.
Same.
Actually, I stopped drinking a couple of months ago. Not that I had a problem with it.
No!
I enjoy drinking.
You don't say.
But you look guilty. But yeah, I think that's helped. I've always eaten clean, but I've just eaten a little more clean.
Well, you look fabulous. You look fabulous. I thought the same thing.
Wow.
Bobby and I have Pellegrino in me right now.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Were you aroused?
I think it's fair to say yes. I think yeah. I mean, we're all friends.
Why did I take it there? Why did I have to take it there?
Well, because that's who you are.
Hey, we invited it.
We did. We did.
I don't think you invited it. I think I imposed.
Let's just say we're all guilty and we're all aroused. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Pellegrino. What's up, Chicago?
Sounds like there's a lot of people out there, but I can't see you. Because these lights are so bright. How are you? Sound like you're having a good time.
Yeah.
I'm good. I love this town. It's my kind of town. I had dinner at Joe's last night. You ever been to Joe's? It's really cool. That's it. See ya. Is this a Q&A?
Yeah.
You guys have questions?
You're supposed to ask the
You want to know if I'm alive? I'm alive! You want to know if Lucifer's alive? Who came? Lucifer loves you. Who came to my meet and greet? Just a little... They know the answer. So you've targeted yourself, meet and greet people. Did you guys know that I was going to do that? You in the meet and greet? Did you guys know that I was going to use you as a tool? I love teasing you guys. It's so fun. So somehow in this Q&A line, we're going to have to grapple with the question of Lucifer's demise. And only about 10 people know the answer to that in this room. What's up?
Hi, my name's Brooke.
What's your name?
Brooke.
Hey, Brooke.
Hi, so my question is, when you got the script and you found out that Lucifer was possibly going to die, or that we did die, how did that make you feel?
horrible, panicked, asking what did I do wrong. Whenever you die in a show, you're like, what the heck happened? What did I do? And because sometimes indeed, oh, they turned on the lights. It's so nice. Thank you. I can actually see faces now. Or maybe it's just my positioning. Yeah, it's the position. Because sometimes it is personal. Sometimes, the people, the writing staff and other folks on the show just don't want you around. Fortunately, that's never happened to me. So, but I think, as far as I know, but when I did find out, I did have questions, and I did ask the current god, supernatural Andrew Dabb, if the death was a death for real or a supernatural death, and he did. That's become a thing now, isn't it? Is it a supernatural death? Yes. Ah, you're fine. And he did give me an answer, which I will not reveal at this time. What? How much fun would that be? You really want to know? No! I'm not going to tell you. You want me to just say yes? I can't. I can't because I wouldn't be telling you the truth. Or maybe I'm not telling you the truth now. It's so fun playing with you guys. Now you see how I was with Sam, right? It's just sort of part of my character. It's sort of part of who I am. Oh God, my wife has to live with this on a daily basis. Hi.
Hi, I'm Ava.
Ava?
Yep.
Good to see you.
Before you got your role as Lucifer, were you expecting his personality to be like snarky and manipulative?
I think they hired me specifically because he was snarky and manipulative. He didn't start out that way, did he? I mean, he had sort of a funny edge, but it was definitely scarier. When I look back at those times, there was a darkness there that was unavoidable. I think he just sort of developed into that character after he was inhabiting Sam's mind. Did you notice that seems to be the place where Lucifer takes on sort of an antic disposition? But it was, I thought it was sort of a good direction to go, right? It's very unconventional because we always see the deep, dark Lucifers, mustache twirling, or weird, eclectic, Lucifers. But it's sort of a combination of eclectic and funny, right? And I think that was a good choice. But I didn't envision it originally, for sure. So that's I think Andrew, was doing it by then. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Why are you guys applauding? What did I do? Oh, you're so lucky. Because what? What?
They're applauding her.
Oh, the cruelty.
Hi. Which type of character do you like to play more? A good hero character with a little bit of a dark side, or a completely evil character with a little bit of a light side?
Makes me feel like they're sort of the same character. I feel like. See, I don't really judge my characters as good or bad. I don't know if that's let me take that back. I don't judge my characters as bad, irrespective of who they are. I like bad guys because they're initiators of action in most of the stories that we confront, and good guys are sort of reactive, you know, but the bad guy drives everything. The bad guy has the ambition to destroy the world, or whatever their ambition is. And so I like that aspect. But for me, you have to sort of get on the side of your character. So you have to sort of attempt to put their actions in perspective. And sometimes it's really hard, right? You get a character like Paul from Dexter, who's just sort of a drug-addicted, wife-beating scumbag. And you have to sort of look at what is this character pursuing that makes them noble to some degree. They're just doing it badly, but they're trying to achieve something noble. I think some of even the worst people in our historical narrative think they're achieving something noble, right? So, I mean, so the answer to the question, short answer to the question is, I like playing bad guys because they initiate the action, but I also judge them to be going for something noble and good, right? Okay. Was Lucifer going for something good? I guess, in his mind, right? He thought everything was fallen, disgraceful, and horrible, and he thought he could remake it and do a better job than God, and I mean, what can you say about that? I'm afraid of this section over here. Ooh, bring it. What's up?
Hi, I'm Jordan.
Hey.
Okay, so let's say you were brought back on the show.
By the way, I like your cosplay.
Thank you. You
Awesome.
have a lot of compliments.
Cool.
But anyway, let's say you were brought back on the show, but for the moment your powers were restricted. Do you think you would try to find someone to help you, like Sam or Jack? That's what pops in my head.
Yes, I think I would. But that's not happening.
Wishful thinking.
What's that?
Wishful thinking.
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe something more interesting than that is happening. Maybe something completely out of left field that we haven't even thought about is happening.
I'm okay with that.
You're okay with that?
Yep.
I'm okay with surprises. Some surprises. This side over here, watch out. Hi.
That's not a bad question. So, how did your friends and family react when you said that you're playing Satan on TV?
How do my friends and family react to that? They like it.
Bit of like a shock, especially.
I mean, they're not, I don't really run around in, most of the circles I run around are secular, so they don't take it that seriously. But some of my religious friends seem to be fine with it. My boxing coach did have issues with it because he's a pretty intense Christian, and he used to bug me about it all the time. So he's the only person I've ever gotten real blowback from for being loose. He's like a guy from the Bronx, so he's like, "You're the devil, for Christ's sakes! Get the hell out of here!" Most people sort of just accept it as, oh, it's make-believe, it's fun. You're telling stories. God. Do you guys get blowback if you like the devil? Do you really? No? Who cares? Who cares? The Prince of Darkness, King of Lies.
When did he become that guy?
What's up? How are you? Awesome. oh my God. That was adorable. When is it?
November the 29th.
Aww. Come here a second. Here. Now, let me come over there too. Miguel. You want to come up on stage with me? Is that okay? I would love to come to your birthday party. I don't think I'll be able to make it, but I would love to come. Maybe I can Skype you. Do you know what Skype is? That's where we get computers out together and we can talk to each other and see each other. So it's like I'm there, but I'm not there, but I am there. How old are you going to be?
I'm 7.
Oh, that's awesome. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah.
Is it weird being up here in front of everybody?
Yes.
You're handling it very well. What do you want for your birthday?
Jobbins.
What are those? Oh, that's awesome. Chompkins. Did I say that right? Well, let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do about making that happen. You're going to be 7 or you're 7 now? You're going to be 7, so you're 6. There you go. I wish I were at that age when I would be like, I'm 53 and a half. You're awesome, dear. So let's see what we can do, okay, about that. Great meeting you. Bye. Thank you, dear. That was ridiculously cute. Wasn't she adorable? I can't take it. I'm gonna cry. Lucifer cries. Lucifer's got a lot to cry about. You're the one I should be scared of.
Instigator.
It's,
That was so cute. I need a moment to recover.
me too. I'm soldiering on though.
My name's Abigail, and Supernatural and Being Human are like my top 2 favorite shows. And I was just wondering what the differences between working with Jared and Jensen are to Sam Whitwer and Sam Huntington.
One sucks and the other doesn't. No, I mean, they're both really cool places, and sometimes I feel so weird answering these types of questions only because it feels like everybody in Hollywood says, oh, it's great working with that person, and inside they hate the person for real. But actually, you know, those 2 shows I feel fortunate because, Jared and Jensen are both great guys to work with, and they're fun, and they make the atmosphere really light, and they're smart, fun to talk to. And the same with both Sams. I mean, you know, I'm really good friends with them to this day. You know, and Sam and I share an interest in gaming, so we play video games together. And the what? What's Loot Crate? Oh, did he? I didn't even know about that. Well, he invites me to do Twitch, you know, that Twitch thing with him, and I've done it like once or twice. I just haven't had time. But he's a real gaming geek. Like he knows, and he's a Star Wars geek and a Star Trek geek. He knows all like deep history of those shows. So I'm a geek, but not as geeky. So, but we bond on that level. Right now he's playing the bad guy on Supergirl. So if you watch that show at all, he's going to be the season's big bad. So yeah, I was fortunate to work on 2 shows with 2 really good people, or 2 more really good people. So it's great. Not often you get to get that privilege. Does that make sense? And you know what I did? I just saw Sam Huntington and Sam Whitworth a couple of weeks ago. We did the virtual reality Star Wars thing. Have you seen this? Yeah, at the Void or whatever it's called. It's like a game where you actually put on the virtual reality, you do a thing, and Sam Whitworth helped me develop it. He did all the sound for it. If you haven't tried it yet, you have to try it. It's really cool. Anyway, I did that with both the Sams and Sam's son Charlie. It was fun.
Hi, I'm Caitlin.
Hi. Wow, it came from here. It confused me because I knew it was there, but it was right. Anyway.
We all know you helped Misha to prepare for his role of being Lucifer. I was wondering what tips you gave him and how you think he did.
What was the first question?
We all know, like, you prepared Misha for his role of being Lucifer,
Uh-huh.
and I was wondering what tips you gave him and how you think he did.
Well, first of all, I thought he did great. But, see, the tips are secret. I just gave him what I thought was a basic profile of the way Lucifer was, and looked at the world, and then with a couple of scenes, sort of suggested the way I would sort of respond to moments, and he just took those suggestions and, you know, colored them with his own sort of personality and ideas. So I just did that push, and he just did whatever the rest was.
Thank you.
You're welcome. An actor never talks about their preparation. That's a secret. No, you can talk about the process. Do you hear actors talking about like specific personal aspects of what they're preparing on?
Huh? No.
You do? You're just being contrarian. You're just being like me. I'm a contrarian. What's up? Hey?
I'm Ashley,
Yeah, sure.
and my friend just told me about Dexter, and I like binged the first season, and you were like amazing.
Thank
Like,
you.
you were really good. That's like not a shock though. My question is about like you and your scene partner Danielle when she was on the show.
Yeah.
Want to tell us something about it?
You asked that like somebody who knew something. Not only knew something, but knew something sketchy. And you just wanted to see if I would admit that something's sketchy.
I know nothing. But yeah, I was just wondering if there's like something fun that happened on set, because the whole time when you were taking her grades, I just pictured you and her without the editing, just like having to slurp near her neck. Like it took me out of the show.
Awkward. Yeah, I mean, yeah, she was fun. It was very professional, and you know, I mean, yeah, there's a part of you that's thinking this is so weird. This is Jensen's wife. So, but you know, it also made her part of the family in a way, and no, we're just, you know, those kinds of scenes are more technical than you think, because you have to do things for the camera in a way while simultaneously not being aware of the camera, and so you have to do a lot of technical stuff. But I thought she was really available and open and reactive and responsive, you know, and really wanted a collaborative process, and I think that's great. I had a great time working with her. I was hoping that relationship developed a little more. Did you guys feel that way, or? Right? I was hoping they wouldn't get into a little spat and then she would just walk out. A little offended by that. But who knows? Maybe there's more in that narrative. Oh, really? Thank you. Yeah, I thought she was great. It was nice working with her. What's up?
Hi, my name is Lily.
Hey, Lily.
My question was, in this last season when Lucifer stole Jack's grace, how do you think Lucifer would have reacted or interacted with God having had that extra power? Like, would he have been more cocky or, having been upset with God for what he did to him?
I definitely feel Lucifer oversteps his bounds, right, and has a little bit of an outsized perspective of his own abilities. I feel like last season he was, and maybe even a little the season before, he was sort of stepping in it by saying, I can handle this. And he couldn't handle it, right? He couldn't handle Amara, but he's like, I'll take care of it. And so he seems to have that sort of, it's pride in a bad sense, that grandiosity. And I don't know that God is around to challenge. I'm sure he would have, I think he was operating on the presumption that God isn't around and that he could do with the universe whatever he wanted. And I'm sure if God came out and said, nah, I don't think you should do that, he'd go, yeah, check this out. And there would be some kind of confrontation which he would lose, no doubt. Yeah, I think old Lucy doesn't really know how to deal with power in appropriate ways, for sure. You agree? You agree with that?
I agree with that.
Oh, poor Lucy. Huh? Who doesn't? Joking. Yeah. I feel like I did a panel with Sebastian Roche about 3 years ago, and I've never been the same since. Huh? Was it here? Was it really here? That's where I did the panel, Sebastian Roche, right here in Chicago? How many of you experienced? Oh, San Francisco? How many of you experienced that? Very few of you, but you know what I'm talking about, don't you? Huh? Okay, but we did do a panel together. We did? Thank you. So I don't remember any of it. That's right, I didn't talk. I knew that, but I'm also, I'm also sometimes saying perverse things like I just said, and it's his fault. Okay.
My question is, earlier in season 13, it seemed like Lucifer was making a turnaround because he had Jack, and it seemed like he wanted to be a better dude for Jack. But then, the last episode, he kind of just messed it all up, and he started being really mean, and that's when I started hating him. But I was wondering if you think the whole nice guy thing was real, he actually wanted to try better, or if he was just trying to manipulate Jack and just lie the whole time.
See, some people don't react very well to rejection. I think Lucifer is one of those kinds of guys that doesn't react very well to rejection. I think, and that's where his switch happened, right? It's one of those things. Do you ever know, do you ever have anybody in your life who's sort of chronically defensive, right? I mean, if you take the time to actually settle in with that person, you can see that they're defensive for a reason, but they always sort of react preemptively, right? So before you hurt them, they're going to hurt you. And I feel like that was where Lucifer was coming from. I feel like he did have a sincere vision of a relationship with Jack. I think he did have sincere feelings wanting to connect with Jack in a fatherly way, as people who have absentee fathers probably have that longing as well. But I think it was also intermingled with that greater plan stuff. And without the one, there couldn't be the other. They were sort of intertwined, and inextricably intertwined. You know what I mean? I'm sorry you started to hate him at that point, but he probably deserved it, didn't he?
Love you all.
Lucifer. So violent.
Hi, my name is Sia.
Oh my
out he has a
Hey,
dog
Hannah.
on the back of his shirt.
So I'm an aspiring actress myself, and I really
dollar?
want to.
From
And I was wondering if you had any tips.
Sure. Sure. Do you live here?
Yes.
British.
There's a good artistic community in Chicago, I think. There's good places you can study and good theater companies that you can get involved with. A real community that doesn't quite exist in LA, even though I think that's sort of a place to be as well. I mean, I would say treat it like a craft, like a profession, like a doctor would have to treat her craft, or an airline pilot would have to treat her craft, right? It takes study and work and constant dedication, and you have to make that work and that dedication the reward, not the potential for people recognizing you in your art, but your art for art's sake, so to speak. And you got to get into a good theater company, you got to study good technique. I think Sanford Meisner's a good technique. I think Bill Esper is one of the best teachers around. He's in New York though. But there's some great stuff, I think, from Mamet, out of Mamet School. And you got to study and get on stage all the time and just work as much as you possibly can. So that by the time you're auditioning, it's a little bit, you've automatized what you've learned so that you can bring it to bear in your work. Because I mean, acting is overcoming obstacles to human connectedness, yeah? When you're working on film, it's an anti-experience. There's cameras in your face, there's like people are messing with you, with their makeup, and it's all geared to not let you have this moment with the person across from you. And it takes a lot of skill to have that moment with the person across from you, a lot of practice to have that moment with the person across from you. And the only way you can build that skill is by technique and working at it often so that it becomes automatic. You don't automatically know how to do a left hook properly, but if you do 20,000 of them, it becomes innate. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you for your courage asking the question. Good luck. Everybody looks for the quick fix. I've noticed I taught acting for like 17 years. And people would always ask, okay, what do I do to get successful? And I would say, well, you have to work really hard. And then hopefully the opportunity comes and you're ready when the opportunity comes. And their faces would just fall because you're letting them know that effort, extreme effort is required, and it may not be rewarded for a very long time, and nobody wanted to hear that, but it's sort of the truth. You work a lot in obscurity for many years, just trying to get proficient. And then maybe if you're lucky, you get a little bit of recognition, but like Bruno, you guys remember Bruno Kirby? Any of you guys? He was a great actor. I'm so sorry he's gone. He was a great actor and a great person. And he said one time, there's somebody driving a cab out there that can act me under the table. And it's true. It's true. There's a little flavoring of luck, but that doesn't diminish the fact that you need to work your butt off all the time. So that opportunity and skill collide, hopefully, in a good moment. What's up?
Hey. Ben, you're right up there with Misha as one of my role models, and it's great to actually talk to you for now.
Okay.
But I was wondering what your reaction was when you found out that Lucifer was coming back after being gone so long.
I've always had this sort of standing agreement with my agents and my managers that if ever Supernatural comes calling, that I should go. That makes them mad sometimes. Because we have to juggle a bunch of shows around, usually. Or I turn down something that may be a good choice, but because of my relationship with the people that work on Supernatural, and the fans. I choose that. So, Supernatural has become a personal sort of thing to me, and I cherish it, and I cherish you guys very, very much, and I don't want to lose that. I mean, life is about giving up and losing sometimes, but I certainly hope that we don't lose each other through the years, even when Supernatural has left us. Supernatural 2050.
Okay, so this kind of has a little backstory. So I was watching this Actors Roundtable the other day with Darren Criss, who plays Andrew Cunanan on the assassination of Gianni Versace, who is like a very famous, horrible spree killer.
Yeah, I remember that. I know that whole thing. I actually got, not that part, but I actually got a role in that whole series, but I had to turn down because I was doing Supernatural. But that's a really crazy story. But go ahead.
Yeah, so he was talking about the show, how or that roundtable, how he has to kind of find the common denominators between himself and his character to play such a horrible guy.
Right.
So I was wondering, where do you go to find the emotions to play a cold-hearted character?
Right here. Well, I don't consider Lucifer a cold-hearted character. I consider him passionate beyond belief, spurned, isolated, and alone, and that has made him defiant, willful, and cruel, but cruel out of self-protection, not cruel out of any inherent sadism, but out of a sense of violated justice. All right? I mean, if you feel you've been unjustly used enough, don't you think that'll change your personality? Don't you think that'll make you a certain way? Do you agree or disagree? I think your environment in that respect can be quite devastating, quite influential in shaping who you are. So, yeah, I think the cold-heartedness is it's Machiavellian. It's something that one does to get where they need to be, but it's more of it's covering over stuff. A guy like Andrew Cunanan, he was a sociopathic character. And that's a different being, even though Lucifer does things that seem sociopathic, I think he comes from a place of extreme injury, and he's trying to get back. And maybe if he were allowed to win a couple of times, is that pie? That is an enormous pie.
Don't tempt him, he's lost a ton of weight. Don't show up here with your giant pies.
Yeah, well, you guys there was a texting thing going on just a few days ago about ice cream. So what is this?
Oh man, Stephen Norton, drummer for Lon Swain, and a fellow who used to live in the area, has his favorite shop, Whitey's, right? And every year, he takes orders from everybody involved. You okay there, Bubba? And he orders up specific flavors for everybody. It's his sort of annual gift to us all. He gets the best shakes and ice creams from Whitey's. Am I telling it right? That's the best, right? Did you order one up?
Yes, I did.
What'd you order?
I ordered the peanut butter...
Rebel. You and me, baby. Yeah, same. Where is Whitey's, if anybody wants to go?
Moline, Illinois. That's in the Quad Cities.
They deliver, and so Stephen Norton annually brings those in, and we have a fridge full of these things that get just mowed through for the next 48 hours. So when you see us rolling around on stage unable to stand, it's the Norton effect.
Richard, I think it's time for three more magic words.
Oh, well then let's do it.
Okay.
Goodbye, Satan!
Hey, I'm Jim Beaver from the TV show Supernatural, and be sure and check out the content on Wayward Fanboy.